What grading company you should grade with?
So there's a lot of grading companies, but we're going to go through three. We got PSA, we got BGS, also known as Beckett, and then we got CGC. Those are the main three that people go through. So we'll just go over the pros and cons of each one. But yeah, let's just get into it real quick.
Let's go.
Van, get off your phone.
Huh?
Do the thing. Tell them what to do.
Sorry, I was watching our video, but you should like and subscribe.
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll start it off with PSA. Everyone knows what PSA is. That's my first pro. Iconic household name. Literally everybody knows what PSA is.
Yeah, I could call one of my friends and ask them what they want to grade with, and literally all they'll know is PSA.
Yep, literally everyone is like, oh, PSA 10 Charizard is worth $10,000. That's the general set guidelines that people usually abide by. They just talk about PSA.
Yeah, and everyone who goes into the hobby is like, oh my god, I want a PSA card and like stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely the most well-known one. So it definitely has that going for it. And that goes on to the value. The fact that it's household honestly adds to the value, but that's an aside. Just as a whole, a PSA 10, watch, I got a PSA 10. So normally PSA 10s equal BGS 9.5s, but in terms of the card quality. But at the end of the day, PSA 10s go for more.
Yeah, that's like, it's unavoidable if this one has like the most household name.
Yeah, exactly. And compared to CGC, which we're gonna compare to also, it's like a 9 or a 9.5. I haven't done the research, but those equal PSA 10s apparently, and those go for way, way, way less than a PSA 10.
Yeah, and most people are gonna grade PSA, but more people are switching because of wait times.
Yeah, anyways, also too, price points. We got price points right there. So value. So bulk, you're gonna be paying $10 per card. Economy is not available. It used to be 20, so it's gonna be around 30 if you do it with a middleman. And then you have regular, which is 25 business days. It'll be $50. Express is 75, which is 15, and then Super Express is $200, and walkthrough is 500. All the names are kind of arbitrary, but the days are what's important. But even those are kind of arbitrary. They're just like estimates. Honestly, for all the websites, they're kind of just estimates because of how crazy wait times are.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the price points. Honestly, at the end of the day, most price points are the same. CGC is gonna actually, at the end of the day, CGC is the same price with subgrades, but we'll get into that later. But most of them are pretty much the same IMO. And then what do we got next? Oh, lower grades are actually sought out based on card. But honestly, at the end of the day, people will buy PSA 4s.
Yeah. I've never seen like a BGS 4 sell before.
Yeah, no one's gonna be like, yo, BGS 4, that hits kind of hard. But I'm like, I want PSA 1s. PSA 1s would hit so hard in certain cards.
Yeah, they hit kind of good. And then it's PSA and it looks sick.
Yeah, so sometimes people literally just buy it because it's in a PSA case.
Yeah, which is a good transition into our next pro.
Good design. PSA case, kind of goated. Really nice, honestly. I like the design the most out of all the three. It's pretty timeless. Very classic. It's literally what you think of when you think of a graded card. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then easiest to sell?
It's just you list it and people look up PSA. It literally is a household name, so people are going to look it up.
Yeah, it goes full circle with it being iconic. So it's just easier to sell. It has the most value. It's pretty much just the top right now. And yeah, those are the pros. The cons, everyone talks about it. We're going to just literally say the same thing everyone else says, but wait times.
Yeah, I'm going to be 16 when my PSA sub comes back.
Yeah, Van's going to be 60, so. But it's kind of a bummer, but that's just the situation. They're just super overwhelmed. And yeah, you just have to live with that. That's definitely a con. You're going to wait 6 months for bulk, maybe even more, 6 to 8 months. And then even their express, which used to be a week, is now a month about. And yeah, that's just life though. Because BGS has the same thing. We'll talk about it later. And then on to the next one. Inconsistent grading. This is a complaint I hear from like super people who've been in the hobby forever. But a lot of people talk about like the 2 millions. I've seen it too, honestly. But I'll have some 9s and I'm like, bro, this is a 7.
Yeah, they really were lenient a long time ago, which does make sense, but it's like, it's really not good for like the market right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing. So I definitely do think that is a con. Still love PSA. Honestly, I'm a PSA fanboy. I can't even front.
They did fix it like now though, so they're pretty kinda harsh, not as lenient as before.
Yeah, they do seem a little bit harsher once you get to the 4 millions. So yeah, other than that, they right here, no subgrades. or labeling of errors. It's just like nice things that other companies have that they don't. So no subgrades kind of sucks. Like, it'd be cool to be like, oh, my corners got this and my centering got this. It really helps you learn.
I think that they should add them.
Yeah, and they don't do errors either. But also, too, what I was going to say, I should have written this down in terms of cons. Actually, I'll write it down right now, if it'll go, is top of market. And what I mean by that is, since they're at the top of the market, they're so busy, they're doing so many things. It's like when someone owns a monopoly, they don't have to change anything because they get all the money already. So part of me feels like they might not ever do these types of things, like the subgrades or labeling of errors, because they don't have to, because they make so much money.
Unless BGS or CGC steps up and steals their customers.
Which they kind of are. I do think they have to do this to stay competitive, so...
They will do it eventually if they lose their money.
Yeah, they need to see what's up. So they need to do stuff like this. If they do stuff like this, they would be ultimate GOAT, and they would kill everyone else.
Yeah.
So, but that's the gist of that. But yeah, not necessarily bad that they're top of market, but sometimes when people are at the top, they don't push themselves. So we'll see what happens with that. But other than that, PSA is definitely really, really good, of course. And we'll just move on to Beckett.
You mean BGS?
You mean Beckett?
You mean BGS?
You mean Beckett?
I think I mean BGS.
All right, here we go. We got Beckett right here. 2-day pricing, 125. 5-day is 100. Standard is 25 to 35, and bulk is 15 to 25. And so it's a little bit more pricey than PSA in terms of bulk. Standard is around the same, and then their 2 days and 5 days are actually a little bit cheaper, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, they're definitely cheaper. So, wait, no, they're not. Super Express is 200, and then 2 days 125. Yeah, it's like $75 cheaper.
Yeah.
But so actually with their bulk, it's a little bit more expensive, because if you want subgrades, these are the prices right here, and you can do it without subgrades, and it'll be a little bit cheaper. But I don't understand the point of using BGS without subgrades.
Yeah, because that's like their main goal.
Gimmick. That's one of the reasons why I would use them personally. There's honestly, for me, I'm like, there's only 2 reasons to use BGS, and we'll get into it. I know there's 3 here, but anyways, so number 1, Black Label. So if you guys don't know what a Black Label is, you have to get 3 10s. I think it's 3 10s to get a
10s. I'm not sure.
Anyways, I'm pretty sure it's at least 3 10s, and then for the 4, you get the crazy gold label. But yeah, that's literally the only reason. Basically, if you get this card, if you get a Black Label... Also, this is from someone in our Discord. It's the homie.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out the homie. I literally cannot believe you got this. This is so ridiculous. But, so basically, if you get this card, it's worth a lot. That, just to put in perspective, like a PSA 10, let's say it's worth like $500 in a PSA 10. If you got a Black Label, honestly, it'd probably be worth like $2,000, even more.
Probably could be.
Yeah, I would say $2,000, but that's just a rough estimate. It's worth a lot. It's worth a lot because it's really hard to get. They just don't hand these out. You literally have to get perfect everything. And then, yeah, so Black Label, definitely number 1 pro. And then subgrades are really cool. It's really nice to see where your card went wrong and where it's really, really good. Unlike PSA, which kind of keeps you in the dark. And this is not necessarily a pro. 9.5 equals PSA 10. We said that earlier. It's just kind of to put it in perspective. So it has 2 pros. But yeah, cons, wait times. It literally has BGS has similar wait times to PSA from what I've heard. They're really, really backed up too. And yeah, grades less than 9.5 are not really worth it.
Yeah, we said this earlier. I'm not trying to buy a BGS 4.
BGS 8 even doesn't hit that good. BGS 8.5 feels weird.
The high grades hit good though.
Yeah, BGS 9.5 and up is pretty much what you want to get when you do Beckett. And at the end of the day too, a BGS 9.5 is equal to a 10, but it's not in quality, but it's not worth it in monetary value. So that's the situation with BGS. And I guess we can just move on to the next, right?
A 4? But the Beckett version would be a 3.5.
Yeah, a 3.5. Oh, this is a clickbait thumbnail. Nope. Okay, cool. I just need to make room for
CGC.
CGC's honestly. CGC has been stepping up. A lot of people feel like CGC is slept on. I don't feel. I mean, I feel like it has a lot of potential, but I don't feel like it's that awesome to me personally. But let's go over it really quick. So basically, bulk is $8. Economy is 15, standard is 20, express is 30, walkthrough is 50. It's definitely cheaper.
It's way cheaper.
You do have to pay $5 to add subgrades though.
I think it's also like you have to send in like 50 bulk.
You have to send in 50 bulk, yeah, to get the $8 price. So, and then if you want subgrades, it's another 3. So you're actually paying 13, which is actually similar to PSA bulk.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but if you're doing the high end ones, really cheap actually. $30 for like up to a $10,000 card is ridiculous.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so that's good. And let's get into the pros really quick. Obvious one. Oh, well, obvious one is faster turnaround. This one's right here.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone likes.
Yeah, exactly. Watch, I'll change the color. We'll change it to green because everyone green.
Green's underappreciated.
There we go. Faster turnaround. That's definitely the one. You're gonna wait like a month to get your bulk compared to PSA's 8 months. So that's definitely a good one. I do like the slab, honestly. The slab plastic is really nice. The label's kind of ugly though, as you can see. Bad label. Label equals butt. That's just me. I know it's a personal preference, so if you guys feel a certain kind of way, go ahead, comment, let me know what's up. Harsher grading. From what I've heard, they grade really, really harsh. So that's really nice. So it's really hard to get a pristine 10. My issue with that, though, is like, if you're going to have a really nice pristine 10, just send it to BGS and get the black label.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, personally. And it's like, yeah, it's like cool to have a CGC 9, but I'd rather have a PSA 9. It just hits harder.
Yeah, CGC needs to step up their label before they...
If they get a cool label, I might be down, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It just feels off. But anyways, also, I don't like their logo either, but that's just me. And then they do have a lot of experience with comic grading. Like, they're the #1 comic grader, so they have that going for them. So they're actually really experienced with grading, so that adds on to their pros. And they do grade error cards. So, honestly, I feel like CGC has a lot going for them. I'm just not sold on them. Like, it just doesn't hit for me.
Yeah, they do have a chance to crash and burn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they also have a chance to do really good in the market, because part of me feels like if CGC didn't have crazy fast turnaround times compared to everyone else, people would not even care. Everyone would just be like, oh, PSA is king. PSA is GOAT.
If they were all equal in the state of things, I feel like everyone would just send a PSA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So if PSA had faster turnaround times, everyone would just do PSA. That's my opinion. I do think there is potential in the long-term market for them to do really good since they have really, really harsh grading. They just have to switch up a few things like the label and stuff, and I might be down. And yeah, last thing too, cons, less value. Right now they're new. Their cards are just worth less. Like a PSA 9 is equal to, let's say, like a CGC 8.5 or an 8. No one's done like a complete like comparison yet, but we'll say that. But at the end of the day, like a PSA 9 will probably go for at least $100 more from what I've seen. I know CGC is catching up a little bit, but I know a lot of people are buying CGC cards to regrade with PSA. I don't know, there's all this other stuff that you could talk about. So CGC has a lot of potential. It's really new. I put that as a con.
But it also could be a pro.
But it could also be a pro because they have to do a bunch of good things like faster turnaround times. They have to do stuff to keep competitive. But also they're new, so they might not be cemented into the hierarchy of grading. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's everything. I have a little chart right here.
A 3.
A CGC 3. So my consensus right here. I think PSA is good for general collection and selling in general. It definitely gets you the most value. It takes forever, but is definitely the least likely to die. PSA is just a mainstay in the system. So I think for your general use, PSA is very, very good if you guys are not impatient and you aren't desperate for your cards back or desperate for getting your cards back to flip, desperate for money, etc., etc. The only other con I would say with PSA is the market is really crazy right now and anything could happen. Market could die. Pokemon cards could die in 8 months. You never know. And that's a little bit risky with sending all the wait times. And yeah, Beckett. So yeah, I would say PSA is the best general. Because, I mean, I'd rather have PSA cards than any of the other ones. But anyways, Beckett, you just want to submit your perfect cards. That's pretty much it. Submit a card where it has perfect centering, perfect edges, perfect surface, and what's the last one? Corners, yeah.
You're gonna want to get that black label.
Yeah, you want to get the black label. That's pretty much the only reason I would submit to Beckett IMO, because it still takes forever. And subgrades are nice. I do like subgrades, but I'd rather a PSA 10 than a BGS 9.5.
Yeah, I agree.
And then yeah, CGC is the fastest. You got errors. And then, but it's also really high risk. You never know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen with them, but they do have a lot of potential. So if you want to gamble in stonks, you can gamble in stonks. But for me, personally, how I see them is I think they're good for modern and quick flips. Like if you want to grade a card and be like, oh, this card is really high grade, and you want to get it back in a month and flip it, really good. And if you want to flip a bunch of modern cards, I think it's really good, actually. I think it's really good for like Vivid Voltage Pikachu or something.
It's good for things for like that are gonna get reprinted, but you just don't get the most value out of it.
Yeah, you don't get the most value, but then at the end of the day, it might be worth it, because if you wait for all the PSAs to come back, by that time the value of that card might tank like crazy. So it's just up in the air. I wouldn't submit. I don't like the idea of having my vintage cards submitted in CGC. So that's just how I feel.
Yeah, it's kind of a pick and choose.
But yeah, so I hope that was helpful to you guys. Just wanted to lay it out really quick. And yeah, I think that's it. You have anything else?
Yeah, so like for Beckett, comment for CGC, subscribe for PSA, and do all for everything.
Yeah, place your votes.